The Middle East, that region facing a serious risk of a large and destructive conflict, at least according to some commentators. Tensions there have risen sharply in the last 24 hours in the latest acts of aggression, and they've raised concerns about a wider war that could involve other countries and affect effectively millions of people. The situation is unstable, and the effects of this conflict could have implications for peace in the region and beyond. In recent days, many have signified a turning point of this ongoing crisis. What has happened, of course, is that Iran has fired missiles towards Israel, with Tel Aviv threatening some kind of retaliation. Let's continue making sense of this. Bring in Ms. Lebohang Pheko. She's a senior research fellow with the Trade Collective and joins us now via video link. Always great having you with us, Ms. Pheko. Thanks, as always, for making time to help us understand the geopolitics as they stand. And what a time it is. But perhaps I'll pose to you a question I asked earlier on as we were making sense of what's taking place. Since the October 7th attack by Hamas against Israel, there were warnings that we would get here. There were warnings that there would be an escalation and that Iran may very well enter the fray, so to speak. Now that that is happening, I wonder what you reckon should happen next insofar as the response from the global community.
Thank you so much, Ayanda, and to the viewers. Indeed, you're correct. This has been brewing since the October 7th attack, which, of course, is in response to many other decades of Israeli aggression on the Gaza Strip. Remember that there has also been intensification in Israel on the military campaign against Hezbollah in Lebanon in recent weeks, which is viewed as an Iranian proxy rebel group. And the Houthi groups in Yemen have purportedly retaliated by launching missiles and drones at Israeli cities and U.S. destroyers in the Red Sea. It has to be said that they were not targeting civilians nor human life, but rather infrastructure. We also remember that this is the context of the assassination recently, and it is not surprising that the Iranians have also felt that they too were under attack and under threat, and so President Masoud Pezeshkian has also been trying to find ways of repairing its own international standing as a leading player and as a leading power broker in that particular region. His timing may not be the best, but certainly this is a conflation of things that have been, of occurrences that have been escalating in the region. And lastly, of course, to add that the other fly in the ointment is that the U.S. elections are looming, and that President Biden has again given his unconditional support to the Israeli state, which of course is extremely problematic because an escalation in that regard could signal a really difficult season for the Middle East, and of course the ability of other countries into the conflict. We also have to think around what it also means for the potential for countries like South Africa, who have been playing a leading role, at least at the diplomatic level, although our economic relations with Israel are much cozier than many of us might be aware of, but who have been playing a leading role as opposing proponents of this, and that we are going to take over the G7 presidency soon, that we're also going to, there's also an expanded BRICS meeting that is taking place in the next few weeks. So these are several global moments to test whether or not the appetite and for this kind of aggression from Israel and the resistance, the appetite for this might be other important players on the global stage.
Sure. I have to apologize to our viewers, Ms. Pheko. Our connection to you isn't the best, but I'm hoping it'll stabilize as I ask the next question. It certainly is an intractable war, right? What's taking place, at least between Israel and Hezbollah, by extension Iran, as well as with Hamas in Gaza as well. And you speak about, for example, the U.S., possibly facing, not possibly, definitely going into an election next month. And the question, I suppose, that comes up is who is best placed then to mediate some kind of intervention in a context where the people perhaps who may very well have the economic power to speak up are distracted, for lack of a better term.
Yes, so you raise again an important point, because I think that the the United Nations has so far, beyond condemning the latest aggression and the latest attack, have also mentioned that the only thing that they have said is that there must be a de-escalation of aggression, but they have failed to name and to be very clear in characterizing the original attack on October 17th as a response to many decades of invasion, a settler colonial invasion, and many attacks and incursions, territorial incursions on the West Bank by the Israeli state. And of course, they have also not been able to really deal with the escalating, turmoil in different parts of the Middle East. So, for example, the 52 52 Lebanese were killed by Israelis just recently, and this has also been threatening to not only into Yemen, but into one of the very apolitical approach of other Middle East and the United Arab Emirates, the Saudi Arabia, and so on, which have been shamefully silent on this, whether or not they will feel in any way compelled to begin to voice their own resistance to this. That's also complicated by the fact that they too have they have a strong relationship, strong economic ties based and that is really petroleum based with the United States. So as we sit here, Ayanda, and the viewers, it's hard to see who has the kind of international stand able to broker some kind of agreement. One would hope that a country like China might be able to have some kind of a say, but their soft diplomacy at times like this becomes something that's very difficult to understand because they have the power, but at every turn they have tended to abstain at the United Nations Security Council.